Good evening. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I'm your host, Shay Marriott. Tonight, we're going to be talking about breaking barriers in the skies. Make sure you tune in, like, share, and subscribe to tonight's podcast.
Out of the ashes we will soar to a destiny we can't ignore. Heartbeats echo through the night with every dream and endless flight. Together strong, let's break the mold. Our rebirth and stories told. It's time to renew, rebuild, restore. Unlock the dreams we've been waiting for. Rise up higher, more and more. With every breath, a new dawn's roar. Oh.
Good evening. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I'm your host, Shay Marriott,
And I'm your boy, Corey Wilkerson, a.k.a. The Thinker.
aka The Thinker. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We have an amazing show for you. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to be with us tonight, and we truly, truly appreciate you. So thank you for tuning in. Are you guys excited? We have, oh man, I'm so excited about this guest.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
She
so
came on camera. I was
excited.
like, I had to sit up,
Got the salute.
right? Felt like I needed to go get a blazer.
I am
That's
really,
awesome.
really. I feel like this is gonna sound crazy because I'm 52 years old, but I feel like a little girl
Oh,
meeting her and seeing her and talking to her. I feel like a little girl, right? She's someone that I wish I had around when I was younger to see what I could be. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so excited. Oh God, I got emotional saying that.
Okay.
But once again, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
Yes.
What's going on, Corey?
Not much. What's going on with you? I
How
like
you
the
been?
blazer.
I'm trying to be, I was trying to be a little colorful tonight.
What's up?
Try to keep my spirits up.
Ah, cool.
Spring
Cool.
is coming
Spring
in.
is here.
And,
Spring is
all
here.
of those
Spring is here.
things. Yes.
You know,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm
Okay.
doing good. Trying to
Okay.
stay up with my jump rope again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Trying to drop some weight. Sister's party's coming towards the end of the month, so we want to
Okay.
make sure that we all look okay for that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All
So,
right.
but yeah, I'm good. I'm glad this weather is changing. No more cold. Well, it's a little chilly
Yes.
sometimes, but
yes.
I'm good with this weather being
yes.
outside and having a good time.
Yes,
So, I'm cool.
absolutely.
How you been?
I am well. I am well.
You sure?
I am. I had to. Time seems like it's going by
Yeah.
so fast.
Yeah,
So
March
I'm
had
like,
somewhere to be. It was in and
ah,
out.
I'm really trying to keep up. Right.
Yeah.
You're right. You
Yeah.
said March has somewhere
It
to
has
be.
somewhere to be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for
But
sure.
I'm not mad at the warmer weather coming because
Yeah.
that's my season.
Yes.
I like being out back and in my oasis, as I called it.
I can't. You
So
added some stuff to the back.
I did.
You
I did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that,
Yeah.
and just kind of getting out of the winter funk and everything.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
felt like this was a little harsh winter.
It was harsh.
Yeah.
It was harsh. But
Yeah.
better days are ahead.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
So, guys, we have a couple things coming up. We did not get a chance to really put the information out there, but we have I Am Built for This Relentless 2.0 with Pastor Delisa. That's going to be happening on April 26th. I believe. Yes. So you can go to eventbrite.com and get your tickets. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be an amazing event. It's going to be happening at the Christiana Hilton. So make sure you get your tickets. The tickets are currently $75 for early bird, but that probably will be changing soon. So that is Pastor Delisa Lewis, Pastor Tanya Hall, and Pastor Dana Rue will be the speakers for that event. Also, we have Breaking the Code of Silence. Now, if you've come to a Rebirth Live, you've met this brother. He's been on my panel twice. His name is Eric Robinson. He's a licensed therapist here in the state of Delaware, and he has a story. And when I tell you his testimony is so powerful.
Yeah.
Eric is doing Breaking the Code of Silence, breaking generational patterns of emotional repression for men and boys. He did this back in February. It was just for the men, and it was it was so impactful. It was so impactful. This time he's opening it up to boys 12 and older. So grab your sons, grab your nephews, grab your cousins, grab a kid. You don't even have to be related to him, but if he needs to be there, grab him and bring him to this event. It's free, y'all.
For sure.
It's absolutely
Sure.
free. That is also April 26th, and that will be taking place at 9:15 a.m. Breakfast will be starting, and then there will be 10 a.m. workshop. Now, this is taking place at Tabernacle Full Gospel Baptist Cathedral, and that is in Wilmington, Delaware, on Washington Street. So make sure I'm going to post this flyer on my social media post so you guys can get the QR code information and you can register, because you need to RSVP by April 24th. But again, this is absolutely free. So make sure that you take advantage of that. And last but not least, we have African Day Food and Culture.
Yeah,
Yes,
I want to try this food.
Yeah, this is going to be at the Tubman Garriott Riverfront, and this is Saturday, May 24th. Again, it's free,
Yeah.
so y'all can't say there's nothing to do in Delaware, because I just gave you three things that you can attend.
So do it.
Right, and that time is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that is May 24th, and that's free entry. So
Cool.
again, I will be posting all of these on my social media platforms. So if you want more information, you can look there and get that.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sister Lisa and Eric. Also, great people.
Yes. So again, we are excited about tonight's guest. We're going to jump right on because I'm sure she has already had a long day, and I'm so grateful for her being here. But just to give you a little bit of information about who we have coming up. Let me put my readers on, y'all, because I can't see. Be quiet, Corey. You laughing a little bit too hard.
All right.
Yes.
My bad.
Captain Gabrielle Harding is a commercial airline pilot for United Airlines. She serves as captain and line check pilot on the Boeing 737.
Okay.
Could you imagine? She has been a pilot for over 30 years.
Congratulations.
30 years, and became interested in becoming a pilot through Girl Scouts and the Detroit chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. That's amazing. Gabrielle attended Hampton University and majored in aviation flight education, where she received her private pilot certificate. This is like, I've never thought I could be a pilot growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm reading this. I never thought I could be a pilot. After graduating from Hampton University, Gabrielle instructed for 3 years at the flight school in her home state of Michigan. Upon receiving her ATP, she was hired as a first officer at Mesaba. I hope I'm saying that right. Mesaba Airlines, where she flew the Saab 340 and Avro RJ85. I have no idea what that is, but I know it's something amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
I know it's something
for
amazing.
For sure.
So, I can go all the way through her bio, but I want to have her on and have her talk more about, her experience and what brought her on the flight school. I just wanted to give you guys a brief introduction of who she is. But without further ado, please welcome to the Rebirth Podcast, Captain Gabrielle Harding.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. How are you today?
Thank you so much. How are you?
I am doing excellent.
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know you're busy. I know you just came off of a flight, so we appreciate you, and we promise we are not going to take much of your time. But I wanted to highlight you. This is the last day, right, of Women's History Month.
Yes.
And I said, I have to get this beautiful woman on here and interview her and just meet you. So I'm grateful to you for saying yes.
Well, thank you for asking me to be on the show. And I'm super excited. This is my first podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, gear up. Your schedule's going to fill up now.
That's awesome, Gabrielle. Could you I briefly gave a little background about you and all the things that you have done, but please share with the audience anything that you would like about your journey and your experience of becoming a captain.
Ah, so I have been at United Airlines for 18 years. This past February, I've not only
Wow.
flown the 737, but I used to fly the wide body aircraft, which was international flying, the 777 and
Oh.
787. I did that a combination of for about 9 years out of my 18 years here. So when I upgraded to captain, um, one of my friends said, "You should become a line check pilot." That's not quite how he said it. He said, "You are going to be a line check."
He was speaking it into you.
Right.
Exactly, exactly. And I love teaching because when I left Hampton, I was a flight instructor. So a lot of times
Okay.
people will build their experience and time by being a flight instructor, the other jobs you can do as well, and then they move on to the regionals. So it helps me stay up on everything I'm supposed to know. But I realize it also helps me become a better pilot and a better person because I get to interact with different people. And,
Hmm.
sometimes everyone doesn't have the same personality. So you just have to kind of figure
Right.
out how you can get through to that person. So
Right. Absolutely.
I love my job. I couldn't ever see myself
Yeah.
doing anything else. It's not the first thing that I wanted to be. Like everybody else, I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer
No.
because
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what we saw, right? Doctor, lawyers, and then I
Yep.
changed it to engineer. So
Yep.
I ruled out the doctor because my grandmother she was a diabetic and she made all of her
Okay.
grandchildren give her a shot just in case something happened. And I
Oh,
gave her a shot
wow.
with my eyes closed. I was like,
Mm.
no, I don't want to be a doctor. Scratch that one out. Lawyer, I don't know what happened to that. It sounded good, but the engineering stuck. I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. When I was in Girl Scouts, I got an opportunity to go to Space Camp and Space Academy in Huntsville, Alabama. And that's when I got
Okay.
excited about
Wow.
space and aeronautical engineering. Then I took some engineering courses. I'm originally from Detroit. I took some engineering courses at a summer program at Wayne State University. And I was like, engineering is not for me. Not for me at all. And I don't know if it was mechanical engineering, maybe it was the course, I'm not quite sure, but I was
Hmm.
lucky enough to go into a program with the Tuskegee Airmen. And they would take inner city kids, teach them how to teach them about flying. But what really got me was when they took me up in a small airplane. So the city that I had
Oh,
always seen from the ground, I got a chance to see it from a bird's eye view, and
oh
I
my
fell in
goodness.
love. I was like, this right here, this is what I want to do. I want to fly airplanes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome.
That's an amazing story. So we have a few questions for you that we crafted together.
Can I ask an introductory question real quick? This is
Sure.
just my curiosity.
Yeah,
You said you
sure.
had a
Sure.
flight today. Where would you fly from today?
So today, so my trips are normally 3 or 4 days long, but
Okay.
because I needed to get some days off earlier in the month, I got a day trip. So I left this morning at 4:30 a.m. I have a 2 hour drive to go to Newark, New Jersey. That's where I'm based. I flew to Orlando, came back
Mm.
to Newark, and then I drove home.
Oh my
So
Okay.
I got
goodness.
home about an hour ago.
Oh my goodness. Look at God.
Look at
See,
you. Well, we appreciate you.
You're welcome. But you know what? What made me happy is I got to take some kids to and from Mickey Land. So it was
Oh, okay.
nice to see
nice.
the kids and pass out wings. So that made my day.
Awesome.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
And I
Mhm.
know they were like excited to see you. Seriously. I know they were excited to see you. That's awesome. So you want me to start first?
Yes, you go ahead, start first.
Okay. All right, Captain. So your journey into aviation started with the Girl Scouts, as you spoke, and the Detroit chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. Can you share a pivotal moment or experience that solidified your decision to become a pilot?
I mentioned it earlier. It was the flight that I
Mhm.
took above Detroit City Airport. And my
Okay.
mom was actually in the back seat.
Oh, of the small airplane?
She was in the back seat of a small airplane. I was up front with the instructor, and she looks over and she sees me flying. Like I've got my
Oh
hands on
my
the
god.
yoke because she can't hear us talking to each other. We both have on headsets, and she's in the back. And she said at that moment she almost had a heart attack because she's hitting the guy in the shoulder and was like, "Do you know she's actually flying the airplane?" But when he was letting me fly, I was like, "Wow, I can do this. Like this is what I want to do."
Wow.
And I love to travel. And why not get paid to travel?
Yeah.
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 Hmm. Yeah,
That's
so it was
awesome.
I was a junior in high school at the age of 15, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I also knew that I wanted to go to a HBCU. And
Mm,
my sister had gone to Hampton for mass media, and I knew they had an aviation program. So that was my school of choice. That was my first choice.
wow.
And I think that I've only applied to 2 schools, and Hampton accepted me.
That's
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah,
Awesome.
for
That's awesome.
sure.
So here's my question for you. So obviously, I would imagine that your career is kind of male dominated, right?
It is.
Yeah. How have you been able to navigate that, right? And what challenges have you faced, and how have you navigated those challenges?
Lead each day with love and kindness is the best that
Mhm.
I can say that I navigate. Um, it is male dominated, and as long as I know everything I'm supposed to know, no one can tell me anything different. And we fly with different people all of the time, so it's very rare that we fly with the same pilot anytime we have different trips. But the thing is that once people get to know me, and I think sometimes it's just a conversation, because a lot of times they have not sat next to a Black female. They may
Mhm.
not have any friends that are even Black. So what they know about people that look like me is what they see on TV. And as you and I know, that is not who we are.
Right.
So
Sure.
when they talk to me and we have a conversation, I think most people realize that we are all the same. We want love, protection, security, and we want the best for ourselves as well as our families. And I think
Mhm.
if I show up in my true form and be who it is that I am, I don't necessarily have a problem. There's a story that I usually tell people about when I first started in the airlines. I was going for my first job, and it's Masaba Airlines. That's how it's pronounced. Masaba
That's how
Airlines.
I'll mess up some words, Captain.
No problem. It used to be Northwest Airlines when Northwest was
Oh,
around.
okay.
That was
Okay.
my first regional job, or we call it like a 121 job. So that's my first airline job out of flight instructing. And there's a lot of information when we go through training. There's a short amount of time and a lot of information that we have to know. Company policies, but on top of that, you have to know all about the airplane, how pretty much how to build it, how
Mm.
it flies, all the systems. There's flows,
Mm.
there's checklists, there's a lot of information. And when you go through it the first time, it's hard because that is your first time going through it. And
Right.
back then, gosh, that was over 20 years ago. There was no roadmap, especially in a small world of aviation of black pilots. So we
Mhm.
talked to who we could. We tried to get as many mentors as we could. But again, until you went through it, I had no idea how hard it was. And my
Yeah.
counterparts, they were getting extra time, extra help. And when we got to the simulator, we had 8 simulator sessions. I got to the eighth one, and the instructor says, "You're going to need one more." I was like, "Cool, I'll get an extra simulator session," because everyone else around me, they're getting extra simulator sessions. Some of these people are failing, they're bringing them back. So then they tell me, "All right, you can come back in a week. We don't have any simulator time. We'll call you. Go home. We'll call you in a week." And the training center was in Minneapolis. So a week goes by, I don't get a call. 2 weeks goes by, I get a call, and they tell me to come to the office in Minneapolis and bring all of my company material. So you know what that means, that I'm about to get fired. So now I'm devastated because
Mm.
this is my first airline job. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what happened? Like everyone else is getting all this extra training. How come I'm not getting it? So I go
Right.
into this meeting, and there was a gentleman. His name was Charlie. I'll never forget Charlie because Charlie was one of my instructors. And Charlie said to me, he goes, "I don't agree with what they're about to tell you." He said, "I
Mm.
fought, I advocated for you as best as I could, but ultimately the decision is not up to me." So I go into the office, and the manager of flight operations at the time, he had just got hired the same time I did. Of course, he was older. He came from a company in Germany, but we got hired and we were in the same class that goes over like company policies that every employee has to
Mhm.
go through. Well, when I walk in, he sticks out his hand for me to shake his hand and introduces himself as if we hadn't eaten breakfast and lunch together. We hadn't been in class together. Like he
Mm.
didn't even know me. And I introduced myself.
Wow.
sit down, and to make a long story longer, essentially, I did not get fired. That was the first thing they said. We're not firing you, but we think you need to go and get some more experience. How about 6 more months of multi-engine time? Mind you, either I have to go out and pay for it or I have to find a company so that I can fly this time. I had more time than I needed to meet the requirements in order to get the job that I had.
Right.
So,
Right.
I went back home. I cried all the way home. I went back with my
Mm-hmm.
tail between my legs and went back to flight instructing. And then I had a very good friend.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Hampton together, and he came like a couple of months later, and I'm flight instructing, and he says, "Gabrielle, did you get this far in order to be a flight instructor for the rest of your life, or do you want to be an airline pilot?" And I'm like, "Of course,
Mm.
we all want to be airline pilots." And he said to me, "Go get your job back." So that's exactly what
Mm.
I did. I went and got my job back. Long story short, I got the job.
Wow.
I didn't get my seniority back, but I was able to get the job back. But the lesson in all of this
Yes.
that I learned, and it kind of goes back to your question, is that always know what you should know and know more. If I had been
Mm.
prepared,
Mm.
this would not have happened. I should not have needed the extra time. Just because other people
Mm-hmm.
get extra time doesn't always mean that you're going to get it. There are things that are going to happen
Right.
to you that are not
Wow.
fair. And if you are prepared, then there is nothing that can stop you from moving forward.
I
Awesome
love
advice.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome advice.
that's great
Know what
advice.
you
I
know and
love
need and
that.
know more.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
Yeah.
sure. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just joining us, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We will definitely get to your questions if you have any questions tonight for Captain. Okay. Thank you for that, because that's definitely is a light. We like little lessons to leave with
Yeah.
our audience, little takeaways. So that's a good one. So what does a typical day in your life looks like, and what is the most rewarding thing about being a pilot?
Oh, typical day. Every day is a little different, but
Mm-hmm.
usually at the start of a trip, like I was saying earlier, I'm based in Newark, New Jersey. So I live in Delaware. For me, it's a two
Mm-hmm.
hour drive. So I'll get up, usually it's early in the morning. I'll drive 2 hours. And a lot of times I'm a line check pilot, so I have a student. They're usually a captain upgrade or a new hire. And when they come to me, they have finished all of their training in the training center and the simulators, and they take what they've learned there, and now we apply it to real life, actually flying the airplane. So
Okay.
we usually start off with a brief, get to know each other. We talk about what it is we're going to do. We look over the flight plan, and then we go out. We might have 1 or 2 legs that we fly. And typically, my trips are 3 or 4 days long. And
Wow.
so leave on day one, and either I return home on day three or return home on day four. But the beauty of it is, on average, I work about 12 or 14 days out of the month. So I
Oh,
spend a
wow.
lot of, I get to get a lot of time at home.
Awesome.
And then you ask, what's the most rewarding?
Yeah,
There's
what are
It's hard to just pick one because
Right.
there's so many great things about my job. But I would have to say, like today, there was a young lady, African American lady, and she wanted to take a picture with me. I'm like, sure, we could take a picture. She comes into the flight deck, we take a picture together, and
Oh.
she's just smiling from ear to ear. And I let her sit in my seat, wear my captain's hat, take some pictures
Oh.
of her in the flight deck, and it's just seeing the joy in her in her face,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh my God, you're so great." But I see myself just as a person. I'm like, you can do this too. If I could do it,
Yeah.
you can do it. And I
Yeah.
think just seeing how you change people's lives. Like I've had young girls come into the flight deck. I had one girl, she came and gave me a hug. It was so unexpected.
Oh.
That made my day. She says, "Thank you so much for letting me come into the flight deck. I want to be a pilot just like you." But most importantly, it's the people that are around our age. And they usually
Yeah.
say, if I had known that I could do this when I was younger, I would have done it. Representation
Yes.
Yeah.
Representation matters. So if I had to
Yes.
choose something, it is just about being present and about being here so that people can see that they can do it as well.
I love that, because I mean that's
You
why I
said
was
that. Yeah,
excited.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
if I would have known if there was Captain Gabby around when I was young, when I was younger. It's amazing. We have a couple of questions that are coming in, so let's jump on that before we get to our next question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read some of the comments. So we have Francine Edwards. She says, "Hi, Captain Gabby."
Hey, Francine.
Hi, Sir Francie. Sir Francie says, "My daughter is interested in being a pilot. How do I go about helping her get started?"
The question is, I guess, how old is she? If she is late middle school, high school, you can go to obap.org, obap.org, and they have an ACE program depending on where you are. If you live in Delaware, they have one
Okay.
here, but they have them all throughout the US. And what it is a week-long program in which children get exposed to different fields in aviation. So pilots, mechanics, air traffic control, they'll get to go and see a military base. So it kind of gives her a broad spectrum of the aviation field to see what
Okay.
if she really likes aviation, but also sistersoftheskies.org. So I think
Yes.
it's sos.org or
Okay.
Sisters of the Skies. They
Can we
have
put
a
that in the chat?
program called Grow. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it stands for. I know they have one in Houston. They've done one in Denver, and I think they're expanding, but it takes young girls, and I don't know if it's 13, 14, or 15 where they start age-wise, and
Mm-hmm.
they take them up in a small airplane. And the person who is their flight instructor or the person that's flying them is another Black female or another female of color.
Wow.
So all the people there, most of them are females of color. So they look like them, and they're exposing them to aviation as well.
Awesome. Thank you. We put that in the chat so people
Okay.
can definitely write that down. Lena Thompson said, watching. You are amazing.
Hi, Lena. Thank you, Lena.
Francine Edwards says, in the ABC interview, you shared that women belong everywhere. How can we make sure that men and people who aren't Black and brown support this philosophy?
That is a great question, Francine. Personally, I don't think it's our job to change people's opinions. I think that everybody should be open-minded and understand that we're all human. The only thing that separates us is color and or gender. And I think if people have their minds made up about something, no matter how much I talk about how qualified I am or how much I belong in this seat, it's not going to change their minds.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. Thank you for that. And Lena also says, yes, I wish I met Captain Gabby when I was young.
Oh.
Lena.
Lena, it's not too late. It's not too late to become an airline pilot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think this kind of piggybacks on my next question. You might have answered small pieces of it. So when you think about underrepresented areas in our nation, in our country, what advice would you give to that population of folks around if they want to become a pilot? If they're curious, right? I think like when we were young, we used to read books about some of the things that we wanted to do. That's why usually it's like doctor, lawyer, police officer, teacher. You see pilots, right? But you've never seen people of color, right? You don't see that, right? And now I get to say that I know one, right? Right. So that's super awesome. So what advice would you give for underrepresented communities around being a pilot if they're interested in aviation?
Well, I mentioned the two organizations. So the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, which is obap.org, and then you have Sisters of the Skies, which is sistersoftheskies.org or sos.org. I can't remember exactly which one.
Okay.
So you have those two organizations. You also have Women in Aviation. They give scholarships as well. It's not necessarily based off of your race, but it's more based off of gender. Google. I mean, back in the day when I was younger, you had encyclopedias, and by the time you looked in the encyclopedia, it was old information. So you can Google, there's different programs. United actually has a United Aviate Academy in which they take people and they go from their private pilot's license all the way to their multi-engine instructor rating. So they get all the certificates and ratings that they need, and they kind of train them in a United way. I got an opportunity to go there a couple of weeks ago and speak to some of the young ladies that are there, and I was
Mm.
so impressed. Um, One of the young ladies took me up. It's been a long time since I've been flying in a small airplane, but she was my instructor, and we went up, and I was
Oh.
just super impressed at how well, like in the short amount of time she had been flying, just how well she did. She went through the checklist. She made sure I had all my
Mm.
briefings. It's a wonderful academy. A lot of people there, it's usually their second or third career. There's some that were
Mhm.
flight attendants and decided that they wanted to become pilots. And all three of the airlines have a program like that. I won't mention the other two because I don't work for them, but United has it. And and it's in Phoenix, Arizona, so that will be a good one to look up as well. And then you also have the universities. I'll start with the HBCUs. Hampton, shameless plug,
Mhm.
because Hampton University
Mhm.
has a great aviation program. Delaware State University, for those of
Yep.
us who live in Delaware. Um, Here's a hidden gem that I didn't know about, but if I had known about it, I actually may have considered it. It's Elizabeth City State University in
Really?
North Carolina. It is an HBCU, and they have an excellent aviation program. I was there a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
their program was the cheapest. I know they're going up in price, but it still might still be the cheapest. And then when you compare what you're paying just to go to the university, it's a great cost.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so you have, oh, I'm missing another one. I think it's Texas Southern. I think
Okay.
Texas Southern um, has a aviation program as well, and that's HBCU. But then you have other schools like Western Michigan, University of North Dakota, Embry Riddle, a little expensive. Uh, and there's a lot of other schools, but
Mhm.
here is the secret that I'm going to tell you is that it really does not matter what school you went to,
Mhm. Mhm.
as it might in other jobs. What people are looking for when you step into that interview is that you have all your certificates and ratings, and they're looking at your experience, your total time, and talking
Okay.
to you, and just to see what kind of person you are. The big question is this someone that I can sit in a flight deck with for 5, 6, sometimes 8 hours, and
Mhm.
I'll be okay and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
That's good. We got some more comments coming in. So Safasi is actually a flight attendant. I'm not for sure what airline she works for. Safasi, you could drop it in the comments for me. But she says, my favorite flights are when I'm flying with a brother or sister. I just feel so much pride.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Servantia. That
Yes.
those are my favorite flights too. I've had
Mine's
we call them
too.
ABC flights. I think I've had one ABC flight. We call ABC All Black Crew.
Oh,
Not
wow.
that was a great moment. We actually all went out and hung out on our overnight. It
That's
was
Oh,
awesome.
awesome.
I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. Lisa Gonzalez. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for tuning in. She says, hey, Gabby, you're amazing. I love a strong woman. Keep shining, girl.
Thank you,
You getting so
Lisa.
much love tonight.
You
You
are.
are getting so much love tonight. I love it. I
Thank
love
you,
it.
Lisa.
So my last question to you, I know Corey has one more question after me, is about balancing career and family, right? And which we as moms we all try to do that juggling act, right? So being a pilot requires a demanding schedule, and you're also a mother, right? How do you balance your professional life with family responsibilities, and what support systems have helped you along the way?
That's a good question. So I have been balancing my oldest since I got hired at United. She will be
Okay.
18 years old in May. So when I got hired, originally it was Continental, and then Continental United Airlines merged. I was actually pregnant with my oldest. She will
Oh,
be going to Clark
wow.
Atlanta University in the fall. I'm so proud of her.
Oh,
Thank
congratulations.
you, thank you. And then I have a son who is 13. Oh, he'll be 13 in June. Uh,
Oh, nice.
so I ever since I've been at the major airlines, I've been juggling them. This job has given me
Mhm.
so much latitude When each child was born, I took a year off with them, and I was able to
Oh.
bond and spend a lot of time. And then the beginning of my career at United, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed as a first officer for so long, and I flew
Mhm.
wide bodies. I was spending most of my time at home, to the point
Mm.
that my friends were like, "Are you sure you have a job?" Or if I said I'm going to work, they're like, "Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're And my youngest, when I came back about 2.5 years ago to the 737, and we always call this is the workhorse of our operation, because I'm usually gone early in the morning before he gets up, and I come home late at night. Whereas before, I would be here when he leaves in the morning, and then on the day that I would come home, I'd be home before he even arrives from school. He was like, "Mom, I don't know if I like this. Like, you're working all the time." But again, just like I said, I get 12 to 14 days off a month. So my
Yeah.
schedule is awesome. I have the most wonderful support group. So when I moved here, I did not have any family here. All of my
Oh,
family was in Detroit. My mom would come and help throughout the year when we needed help babysitting the children, but it was my friends, and some of them I saw up on here tonight. So
mhm.
having a support group is very important.
It's
And
important.
yeah, it's nothing like your friends. You get to choose your
Yeah.
family. You don't get to choose your family, but you
You
get to
say it
choose your
right.
friends. And I
You do.
I
Yes.
I got to choose my sisters, and my sisters chose me. So whenever I make a call out to someone, there's somebody who can pick up my child, who could do something for me,
Mhm.
and it's wonderful. I have truly been
Yeah.
very lucky.
That's great. And
That's awesome.
to the support system that's watching tonight, thank you for upholding her, because it is important. It is
Yeah.
so important to have a good support system. It really is. So I love that for you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I love that for you. I know your kids are like your kid. I know your kids is like, well, this is mom, right? Like,
Right. I
they,
thought one of them was like standing in the doorway, like, "Mom, mom,
but I'm like, oh my gosh, do they look up to you like mom's she's a captain, she's a pilot, she
well,
flies,
I'm just mom," right? Because this is
right?
all they've ever known. When my daughter was little, um, a lot of our male friends were pilots, but she
Mhm.
just assumed everyone was a pilot. And she went up to one of my girlfriends and was like,
Oh.
"Hey, Auntie Tanya, you're a pilot." She was like, "No, baby, your mom's the only female pilot around here," because it's the norm for them. Like it's,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, a pilot is what I do. A mom is who I am.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Yes.
they always see me as mom.
Yes. I
Mhm.
love that. Your question?
Last question for me. So, with the advancements in technology and the growing emphasis on diversity in the aviation industry, where do you see the field heading in the next decade, and what changes would you like to see?
So when I started, there weren't that many black female pilots. There weren't that many female pilots. And
Mhm.
now I don't know if it's social media that I can see everybody, and I see all these people coming through, and they're
Mhm.
learning to fly airplanes, and they're getting hired at the regionals, they're getting hired at the major airlines, and the numbers are increasing. Of course, I would love to see the numbers increase a little faster, but I'll take whatever we can get. And again, it's about exposure. It's about doing podcasts like this, and maybe somebody runs across a podcast.
Yes.
It's about talking at schools, talking on panels, going to different programs, and getting people
Mhm.
interested in aviation. And I have a little under 20 years left before I have to retire. And by that time, I will be happy to see the numbers triple. But that
Yes.
I would love to see it. But it took 16 years, almost 16 years, for me to fly with the first black female captain, and that was Teresa Claiborne.
Wow.
Right, Teresa Claiborne was
Wow.
the first African American female in the Air Force. She just retired last year from United
Oh
Airlines.
my
Wow.
Right.
goodness.
I waited. It took me forever to get to fly with her on the 787. And once I was able to fly with her, I was like, okay, I can upgrade now. I'm done. But 16 years at it was 16 years at United. It had even been longer if I add my regional time of me actually flying at an airline job. So
Okay.
now I have the opportunity. I have flown I know the numbers are small, but I've flown with 3 other Black females during training. So it's
That's
nice to,
awesome.
yeah, it's nice when they're new or they're transitioning or they're upgrading to be able
Mhm.
to do their training. Because for me, I want to make sure that I'm giving them all the information that I wish I had known. And sometimes I know it's
Right.
Yes.
overwhelming, but I want them to be great.
Yeah.
And they are in their own right. They come prepared and they come ready for the game.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's it's so yeah, it
That is
is.
awesome.
It
That is
is. I
awesome.
It's been a minute since I've been this excited about about a guest. I feel like a little girl all over again. One day I'm gonna meet you in person, Captain. One day
All
I want to
right.
meet you in person.
And you have to
Yes.
come on one of my flights.
Yes.
You could pod on the flight.
Yeah. I can podcast
You
on the
know how to
flight,
pod on the
right?
flight.
Yes, I have to get the information and all of that and what I need because I sure will. Can I get a picture too?
Sure can. I even let you wear the hat.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it so much. We have another comment, and this is actually from Jen. She says, "Oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm so honored to have you on the show." And I feel the same way.
Yeah, I do too.
I still, I don't know why I am emotional. What
You
is
should
wrong with
be. You should
me?
be proud. Should be proud.
But thank you,
I'm
Jen.
just so excited and I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so proud
you.
of you. I don't need to know you personally to say I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I
Seriously.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
real seriously. And thank you for, just accepting this invitation and all the other places that you go to speak because we need to see people like you.
Absolutely.
It just makes the world of difference. And like you, I thought doctor, lawyer, engineer, right?
Mhm.
Those were the three options. Pilot never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind. My journey led me to become a mental health therapist. But I never thought that I could be a pilot, right? So, having you on the podcast and other people watching and then other places that you visit and speak, it's inspiring. It
Absolutely.
really is inspiring. So yeah. So we honor you. We were grateful for you. And we are here anytime you need anything or support, anything. We are here. Please, please, please reach out. We are considered of you a friend of the show.
Yes, for sure.
So however we can support you in anything that you do, please let us know that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you reached out and asked me to be on this
Yeah.
podcast. It has been a pleasure.
Yes.
It's definitely been a pleasure
Yes.
talking with you and Corey.
Yes, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. We appreciate you. And those of you that are listening and we put all the information in the chat so you can look that up if you are interested in getting involved in becoming a pilot or your children. I know one young lady said that her daughter wants to be a pilot. This is why we do this. This is why we
Absolutely.
have these type of shows and we give out this type of information because we want to honor and uplift and showcase people like Captain Harding. So they do exist. And
Yes.
again, we just thank you so much. And thank you for taking time. I know you just came off a flight. So I want to respect your time, but thank you again for coming on and we appreciate you. I'll
And
be in
thank you
touch with
for
you.
having me. Okay. Sounds great.
All right.
And if the woman who called in about her daughter, if she wants to
Yes.
give you her information, then I'll contact her.
Okay. Yep.
Awesome.
I sure will. Actually, I know her personally, so I will make
Okay.
sure you guys connect. Yeah, I know she's gonna be grateful. She's also the flight attendant that I was telling you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So thank you again. Please enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will definitely be in contact with you. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Right.
Bye-bye. You
Bye-bye.
too. Oh man, that was
That was
that was
good.
so amazing. You look at
Beaming.
my face.
Yeah.
I am beaming. I am woke. Earlier, I was just like, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. But I'm just so I'm so happy. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy she said yes.
Absolutely.
Those of you that have joined us tonight, and if this is your first time, I do ask that please come back again.
Mhm.
Make sure you either follow, you like, you subscribe, where you can get our content, because that's what we're about here
Right.
at Rebirth is just bringing information to you that is going to support the Black and brown community. And happy Women's History
Yes.
Month.
Happy
This is
Women's.
the last day.
Way to
Happy
close it
Women's
out.
History Month. Great way to close it
Way to
out.
close it out.
It really was a great way to close it out. And I will say, if you guys are interested in being on the Rebirth podcast, or you know of someone that you would like Corey and I to interview, please send me an email at info.rebirthlive@gmail.com. The email is actually in the link. So send me an email, reach out. I would love to have them on the show, or have you on the show. Or if there's something that you want to know more about, if there's a topic that you want us to talk about. We always talk about mental health and relationships here, but I also like to venture out and also address other things.
Yeah.
So again, to everyone, happy Women's History Month. And until next week, guys, please have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Corey, for
You're
doing this interview with
welcome.
me
You're
tonight.
welcome.
I
You're welcome. I
appreciate
was
you.
excited. That was cool. That was
Yeah,
definitely
that
cool.
felt good, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I was proud to just watch her. But we came on the show before we started.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was super, super inspiring.
yeah,
Super inspiring.
yeah,
But also
amazing.
share this this live.
Yes,
Share it with
please share
yeah,
this.
for sure share it. Yeah.
Please share this. If you
Absolutely.
have children, please share this with your children,
Yes.
because it's so important.
Yes.
It's so important. Like I said, if I would have saw a Captain Harding when I was younger,
Mhm.
do you know how major? Now I don't know if I would have been a pilot or not, but
That's awesome to
I
see.
would have been
Representation
like,
matters for sure.
yeah,
Especially in today's climate.
yes.
It made me even more proud to see her.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for
So
sure.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. God bless you. And until
Yes.
next Monday, good night.
Good night.